My name is Maria Martinez, and I'm from Mexico City. We moved here when I was 14 years old, and I moved here with my mom, my dad, and my brother. My dad was an accountant, so he had a good job, and my mom stayed home with us, so she will take us everywhere, and she will take care of the house. Like any family, we had our ups and downs, but I always felt free and safe, and I had my parents with me, so I felt that life was great. I never felt that we needed anything else. We were okay. Then my dad was let go from his job, and he was having a hard time finding a job over there because in Mexico at that time, when you turn 40 or up, it's hard to find a job, especially when you are up here. So he decided to come to the States when I was probably 11, 12, and our family had to separate. They just kind of said, your dad is going to go to the States and try to find a good job. Mm. And we were like, okay, what can we do about it? He changed everything in our family because now dad was not at home. Mom had to go to work, to help dad. And me and my brother, I felt that we had to grow up too fast. So my dad came to the United States, and a little after he came, Mom had to start working because, my dad came over here and it was hard for him to find a job right away. Mm. So we were not having any income and somebody needed to work. And she was working pretty much 7 days a week. And the days that she was off, it was hard because we had to do the house thing, So we didn't really have family time anymore. And not having my dad here at home and not having mom was bad for us because we were so used to having family time. And now we were like, okay, I depend on you and you depend on me. So yeah, we had to do the cleaning, and plus that we had to do our schoolwork and be kids because we wanted to go outside and play too, Yeah. So yeah, it was, in a way, you felt a little bit of freedom because you didn't have an adult there to tell you what to do, but you knew you had to get those things done before mom got home. Mm-hmm. Otherwise, you would be in trouble. So yeah, I think we got a little bit of freedom, and I think that's what made us feel confident about doing that every day because we felt, oh, we're grown-ups now. Yeah. But it was hard. It was really hard. And especially, when mom started working, when the summers came around, we could stay. She didn't want us to stay at home all the time. So we started going to our aunt's houses, to my grandma's house, just to go out, and be with family. We took the subway, and my mom's job, she had 3 stops before we got to my aunt's house. So she had to get out of the subway before us. Mm. And I remember we were, I don't know, I think I was 12 and my brother was 13 maybe. And I remember when she left us there, I felt like she was leaving us, like she was abandoning us, And I remember I just hold my brother's hand and we're like, okay, we're gonna do this. So we were in the subway by ourselves for 3 stations. We got down, and after we got down, we still had to walk to my aunt's house, and it was a long way to walk, and it was just me and him walking it to where we needed to be. So it was scary. It was very scary, and but that was life. That was the life that we didn't choose to have. Nobody asked us if we wanted that life. It just happened, and we just had to deal with it. Maybe 2 years and a half, when my dad finally said, you know what, I have a steady job right now. I can't be without you guys. Like, it was just hard for the family, to just be separated. And, things were getting a little out of hand in Mexico with everything, it started getting bad. The economy, the violence. I mean, it was just not safe anymore. So they felt that moving the family over here was a better choice for us. I felt that my whole life was taken away from me because I had friends there. I had my home. I had my family. I had my routine. I had already adjusted to this new routine that we were having. And now we were going to have to start a new routine, and in a different place. And I didn't want to do it, especially because at that point I was 14 years old already, and I wanted to have my quince, I wanted to have my party, I had my friends. Our family knew, my mom told my grandma and her family that we were moving. We did tell our friends that we were moving, but we didn't tell them the whole story. I was ashamed. I felt very ashamed to tell my friends that I was going to come to the United States to live, especially because we didn't have a visa, we didn't have a passport. So, yeah, we were going to come illegally to it. And I felt embarrassed. When you're a kid and you have to tell someone that you're going to do something illegally, it's shameful, and I felt shameful. I felt ashamed of telling my best friends that I was going to cross illegally. But I think that was something that everybody knew, that you didn't have to say, and just people just knew. So the day came, we had to travel to Matamoros, because that was the border that we were gonna cross. Mm-hmm. So I remember we got there. My dad was living already here in the States, but he knew how bad it was crossing, especially a family woman. Mm-hmm. So he didn't want us to do that walk by ourselves. So he decided he was gonna walk with us, even though he was already here, just because for safety, for me and my mom, and for my brother, because we were young. I mean, I was 14, my brother was 15. We took the bus and we got to Matamoros, and we spent the day there. Then my dad got there, and that was the point where they sat with us and they talked to us about what was going to happen that day. And I was so scared. I was really, really scared, because we were going to walk at night, and we were going to have to swim that river, and we had to do all that in time. Mm-hmm. You had to do it fast. And it was the afternoon when we crossed the river, and it was just like inflatable tubes. You get on the tubes, you swim through the other side, and there's people on this side that are swimming because it's a river, And I remember we crossed, and there was this family, and they yell at us, hurry up, immigration just passed by. At that point in my life, I wanted to die. I was so embarrassed. I was like, why are we on this situation? Why do we have to cross to this country? Why do we have to do all these things? I didn't understand why my parents wanted us to do that. And why do we have to go through that? So I remember I started crying. And when it was time to start walking, I remember everybody had a jug of water. And you were responsible for your water, because that was the water you were going to drink. Mm-hmm. So if you lose your water, you don't have water to drink. And we walked. We walked that night. I remember my dad kept telling me, just think that it's a walk. Don't, I don't remember too much of what he told me, but I remember he said, just think it's a walk that we're taking as a family. I was at peace to know that he was there with us, because it wasn't not just my family crossing. There was more people crossing with us, and there was 2 people that were guiding us where to go. And it was kind of sad, because this is their job. This is what they do. They cross people over. So for them, I think they don't have feelings for the people. And sometimes they were just making jokes, and that was kind of for me, I felt embarrassed. I felt that, I don't know, my life had no value at that point. And I don't know, it was just sad. So we walked and we got to the place that we needed to be because our car was going to pick us up at that point. And I remember we got to this, I mean, we crossed many areas. We walked for hours. I kept falling. We had to jump, fences. We had to go through people's land. So you're scared that somebody's going to come out and shoot you, but you just follow these people. I mean, you have no control. You have no idea where you're at because you look back and it's dark. You look front and it's dark. So you're just kind of following the moon. And we got to this tree where we were going to rest until it was time for a car to pick us up. So I don't know what point the car got there, and all I could hear was run, run, run. So we're getting up and we're running, and we're getting into this car, and you just have to pile up. It's a itty bitty car, and we're like a lot of people. And I remember my mom was in the front, sitting in the front, and my brother was on this part of her legs, just right there, and there's like people in the back seat on the floor. There's like two people in there, and there's somebody laying down next to my dad, and I'm on top of my dad. And I remember we got in the car, and they're like, okay, we're going to your new house, your new home, Houston. And I remember I was crying the whole time. I just wanted to go back home. I just wanted to be in my bed, be with my friends, and just feel safe. And we drove for hours like that. We were all cramping, and it was just a sad ride. And I could stop crying. I just kept saying, why, God? Why do I have to be on this situation? I mean, at that point, I remember I was asking God, why? Why do I have to be here?